There are three types of games in this world. Games that are bad, games that are good, and games that hit. So, Forspoken. Does it hit?
They threatened by my presence. That's why I keep them guessing. Is it the money or is it the fear? Which was more of a lethal weapon? You see the curses and the blessings. I see the purpose and the message. Yeah, I see it all. Top of the world.
Forspoken is a game that at first glance has a lot to offer. A vibrant and beautiful open world, flashy gameplay, a unique plot full of a colorful cast of characters, and an overall high-quality experience to enjoy alongside our main characters, Frey and Cuff, Frey's magical bracelet.
Cuff? It's a bit reductive, isn't it? Cuff?
But the further I got into the game, the more I started to see through the holes littered all over the entire game, and there are a lot of them. First, let's talk about the story. It's your standard anime isekai plot, and it starts in New York. Misunderstood criminal Frey is down on her luck and gets the shit kicked out of her. Finds a magical artifact and gets transported to another world where she is overpowered and is destined to be the hero of the realm. We've seen this formula 1,000 times, but it works and people like it, so I figure let's give it a chance. But it just never really got more compelling than that. Throughout the journey, you meet a large cast of characters, but they all don't really have any depth and serve very little purpose other than pushing the plot along.
You are the only hope we have.
Her character, she doesn't understand Frey's modern day slang, and she's a nice lady.
Crash? A crash. Sleep?
This character, a loopy old man that makes you sad when you think about your real life grandparents. This character, she's just a cute kid who dies like an hour into the game just to give the main character motivation. By the way, this is called fridging, and it's mainly done when you either don't know what to do with a character or never really had a plan for them in the first place. It's really difficult to get attached to any character except for Frey and to an extent Cuff, but 95% of Cuff's dialogue is just wisecracking and giving Frey shit, which is sometimes tiring, but other times I'll admit it's pretty charming.
I know you absolutely sound like that. Yeah, see? Two can play at that game.
Stupid.
Overall, it's just a very standard story without much innovation paired with Square Enix's trademark awkward dialogue that results in a very Marvel-feeling story, but without that Marvel charm that makes it work so often. It feels less like a coherent story and more like things are just kind of happening, if that makes sense. But okay, fine. Story isn't everything, and the game looked amazing in the trailers. A beautiful open world with flashy spells and animations that wow you with every combat. But the truth is, while these things do exist in the game, it is increasingly difficult to enjoy them because of just how badly the game's graphics actually come together. And oh my god, is the optimization a nightmare on PC. I have a very high-end computer, and I had to set everything in the game to low just to get it to run without stuttering on stream. Off stream it was a little smoother, but during heavy action sequences I was still suffering from frame rate drops. And that's not even to mention the fact that the game just does not look as good as the trailers and marketing tell you they do. Big surprise, even while set to max graphics. But, to the game's credit, the actual design of the world is great. Vast open caverns and fields, a bright blue sky, and those Doctor Strange-esque spell effects that make you feel super cool, but they just don't look graphically impressive, which is by no means a deal breaker for a lot of games, but for a game like Forspoken, it's very clearly a part of the marketing tactic and the appeal of the game, and it just fails to deliver, no question about it. Especially these models. Just look at these goofy faces and tell me your immersion would not be ruined during every single cutscene. Now let's get into the most important part, the gameplay. Does it make you feel like a super powerful free-running wizard, slinging spells and bouncing off the walls? Sort of. The combat in the beginning of the game is rough. You start with a single school of magic, purple. That means 3 firing modes, a handful of supportive spells, and 1 ultimate attack. And in terms of fun, this entire school of magic sucks. It's super clunky to control, it doesn't blend together well with the dodging or the run and gun systems that it tries to support. It doesn't feel very impactful against your enemies because of low damage, low knockback, and just overall low effectiveness. And it's gotta be the absolute lowest point of Forspoken's combat for me. But, here's the thing. This game has 2 eras when it comes to combat. Before you defeat the first major boss, and after. Once you take down this boss, you gain access to your second school of magic, red magic. And I am not exaggerating when I say that this new magic takes the combat in the game from like a 4 out of 10 to like a 7 or an 8.
What do you think I am?
oh my god, does it take the game to the next level. Actual melee abilities. Huge amounts of damage and knockback that feels impactful. Increased mobility to help you feel like the free-running mage that the game promised you that you would be. Forspoken did itself a massive disservice by not including other types of magic in the demo, and any early reviews that speak poorly on the combat honestly are justified in my opinion. But if you can just hold out until then, which I do not think any game should make you wait for that long for it to actually be fun, you'll find a combat system that is pretty fun, especially as you unlock new red magic abilities, and even further into the game you unlock entire new schools that are all just straight up better than the magic you start with. The start is slow, long, and unenjoyable, and I cannot give the entire combat system my approval just later on in the game when it actually gets fun. Also, the PC auto-lock system sucks. They want you to use the arrow keys to swap target. The arrow keys. The highest praise I have to give this game outside of the combat is the free running. Despite my complaints about the graphics, the actual design of the world still looks pretty good, and getting to magically free run around the world is mostly pretty satisfying, especially later when you unlock more stamina, the ability to swing with a whip from certain swing spots, but it is unfortunate that it takes so long to get all those upgrades. However, and this too is another idea I think they could have executed much better, for every instance of dope, long distance free running, there are 3 or 4 other instances of getting caught on ledges, having to turn around because of small hitboxes on items you weren't able to pick up, or struggling to get up a little cliff because the climbing system in this game is just complete shit. I'm sorry, but it is so bad. Like, why does it even exist bad? Just as important as the ability to free run it all is the quality of the world that you are running in. And aside from my initial thought that the world design is good, the actual content in the world leaves a lot lacking. If you've ever played Assassin's Creed, you pretty much know what you're getting into here. A main quest marker, brief side quests, random point of interest like mini dungeons or power-up pools, same old, same old. One of the worst things about this game is that despite being an open world, how railroady it is, especially in the beginning of the game. Constant camera locks, movement restrictions, taking away of mobility, and even flat out locking you into set areas. I will say that while points of interest around the map aren't particularly innovative, dungeons do have bosses for you to fight, which is always fun once you've unlocked the new magic, and serves as a pretty efficient way to rank up your magic quickly. So to the game's credit, the grind really isn't bad at all. And I would have liked to see more from the open world other than save points, dungeons that are more or less the same, and random chests scattered around the world that mostly just give you crafting materials. Okay, and we got 15 monies for that. What did we get? What is our prize? Or 15 mana, not monies. A feather. We got a feather. Overall, Forspoken is a game that I was pretty excited for. I went into it looking for an open world, story-driven single-player RPG with a vast array of spells, combinations, and abilities, parkour through vast canyons, forests, or cities, and epic boss battles that tested me both in my movement and combat skills. Instead, I got a very surface level, unoptimized, wonkily controlled game with a decently empty story that just left me sad. Not because the game is awful by any means, it's not, but because it promised so much and it could have been so much more. I really wanted to like this game, and while it's not terrible, and I did start to have a good time once I unlocked the new magic, overall, the game does not hit. But even though it doesn't hit, is it good? It's alright. Honestly, I'd wait for it to go on sale. Or just look into getting it on PS5 where hopefully it's more optimized and easier to control. But as it stands now, I cannot in good faith recommend this game, even with the aspects of combat that I enjoyed, for a $70 price tag. But guys, let me know what you think. Did you like Forspoken? And what game should I cover next? Let me know in the comments below, like it if you liked it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!